So if you've seen my videos before, you know exactly what I'm doing. I've actually been a couple days away because I was down in Florida visiting my mother-in-law. It was her 60th birthday. I came up with a song down there. I just was messing around with it and I kind of tweaked it a little bit from what I had. So I had something that was just kind of like doing something like that, like A to D to B minor. But I ditched all of it except for the B minor, and I just changed it to just do like an arpeggio. So I'm gonna do that for like a verse part, and then I'm gonna do like a little lead in where I'm just gonna go to an F sharp. Well, actually, I guess this is technically a D major chord. It's F sharp, D, and F sharp. But I have the F sharp in the root, so it sounds a little nasty. It's more like a augmented chord that way. And then I think I'm gonna switch keys. Instead of B minor, I think I'm just gonna go into like major. But maybe I won't go B major. Maybe I'll do something like, instead of going to the parallel major, maybe I'll do like E major. Just kind of give it like a weird vibe. So if I do that, like, I could straight up just go into the B major chord. And E major. So the B would be like the fifth, and then I'd go into the root. And then the fourth there of E major. And then to lead back, I could just go to, from that A, I could go into a D major. Right back into the B minor, and that modulates perfectly. Okay, so now I just have to remember all that. Let me just run through this quick. So first would be arpeggio. So B minor to the G major 7. Change to E major. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. I was going to see if I go to the, or maybe, wait. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the third out of there. G sharp minor chord. Okay, so. That's good. Okay, so ahead of this, I was just playing that minor chord, and I kind of set a tempo. So let me see if this still works with what I'm playing. Because it was 135. You know what? I'm going to slow it down like 2 or 3 beats per minute. Let's try 132. Yeah, that's good. As stupid as it sounds, if I can kind of be like, just kind of like bob to it, then I'm like, okay, that's the tempo. Okay, so that's good. Now, when I run into my DAW here, which is a digital audio workstation if you didn't know, but that's a Logic Pro 10, and I use that on my Mac, which is like a 2013 Mac. It's kind of old now, but it's still going, so I'm going to use it until it just completely keels over and dies. So I run into Bias Amp 2 for all of my guitar amps that I'm using modeling. I have the ability to run a real guitar amp and mic it up and everything, but it just takes more time and it's a little more tedious. So I do this, and I really like the sound of this, so I kind of like do a lot of songs. I'm writing original songs every day, and I do stock music, I do stuff for my YouTube videos, so I just kind of need a really streamlined workflow. So this is what I do. I have like a preset little like, what do you call it, template here, so that's what I'm running. And then I have like 6 tracks of guitars and then a guitar solo just on here, and then if I need to subtract or add, I can. But each one has a slightly different amp model with the mic position a little different, or using a different IR, and I just kind of have it where I like them. It comes out and it blends really well, and then I just kind of like adjust the gain and EQ for what I need for the song. I have a bass guitar with Bias Amp 2 as well, running a bass amp model, and I also have a drum VST or AU or whatever they call them on Logic. That's running a really light drum sample pack that I use with my electronic drum set, and that's one that I just kind of made. It's like acoustic shells. I threw mesh heads on, I duct taped Pintec triggers on, and it's a pretty simple setup really, but I just kind of needed something cheap that would work and trigger accurately. So it's not super fancy, but it works. And then I run it all into my Yamaha DTX module, which that's like the cheapest module you can get for an electronic drum set, I think, that's actually decent. Anything below that and they misfire and suck. The sounds inside are not very good, but it's accurate, so that's what I wanted. I run it into my interface. That runs into Logic, which fires, for a while, it fires up the samples on this little drum program that I have running in there, and then later on, once I record the drums, then I'm going to switch it over to Superior Drummer 3. I just don't do that in the beginning because my computer's old and it's a little bit taxing on the system, so I'll do it after the fact. And then in Logic, you can do this thing where you freeze the track, and that pre-processes the audio, so you can, like, you know, run it again without it choking down on the computer. Until that point, I have a drum loop going that I use kind of like for my metronome, because just the clicking is a little bit tiresome to my ears. So one thing I want to show you is I'm just going to open up Bias Amp, because I want to show you something that I think is important if you're recording your own songs. Okay, so here it is. So the thing I want you to pay attention to is, first off, my faders, they're all set to 0. I don't touch them at all until the end. The only ones I touch are my vocal overdubs, because I do a main vocal line, and then any overdubs I do, I'll turn those down, and if I do a harmony, I'll turn that down. Other than that, I do not touch my faders because I like the meter next to it to be accurate. Now, I know in Logic you can do like pre and post fader metering and stuff, but I just prefer not to touch them because it helps me get the gain staging just right. So going into my interface, I have the knob turned down just where it needs to be, and then you can see there's a little input volume meter on this plugin. And if I really dig in, I can get up, but I'm still not going up past 0, but mostly it's like -6 at the very loudest in this plugin, and that's just kind of like, it might actually be a little loud. Just gotta notch that down a tiny bit. Yeah, okay. So that's not really going to clip. Now when I'm doing something super aggressive, I'll turn that down a little bit more, but for this song, I'm gonna be like light picking. So it barely shows up. You wanna leave yourself a lot of headroom going in, and what happens is if you clip the plugin, the input into the plugin, that plugin's clipping inside, and then you have a clipping signal on your track. And then if you turn your fader down, you're just turning a clipping signal up and down. So like quiet or not quiet, clipping is clipping. So it's like ruining your mix. And a lot of people that use these things, like the amp sims, they complain that they sound digital and harsh. They're usually just clipping the thing and they don't realize it. If you don't do that, it won't sound so harsh. Yeah, because this works really well. Cleans up when I turn it down. A little more dirty when I turn the volume up. It's pretty accurate. I just wanted to show you that. And then my output volume on the plugin, that's also nice because I can turn that down so I'm not going out too loud. And I like to hit my tracks at around, it's -18.5 I see on there, probably where I was like aggressively palm muting. So I usually like to keep it somewhere between -22 and right about where it is, -18. Just as a general rule, it depends on the song. So if I got loads of guitar tracks, that'll go down a little bit more. If I only have 2 guitar tracks and a solo, it'll go up a little bit more, just depending. But what I do is I run all of my guitars into a bus. Any acoustic guitars, they'll go into a bus. All vocals go into a bus. All the drums, I would run those into a drum bus. And basically on the buses, I like to hit around -14 dB. And then I run all of those instrument buses into a mix bus where I try and keep it around like -6 or so. Now, I could probably just run everything into a master, but I run into a mix first. And it's just because that's where I kind of use it for my metering. I then run it into the master. So on the mix bus, I just put an EQ that's like my global EQ. And all I do is cut extreme highs and lows off. I don't really like to like EQ a lot for a master because I just like want to have it done in the mix. So my guitar bus, I have the EQ on there. It's chopping off what it needs to. I don't like boost anything. I usually just do subtractive EQ, which means I cut away the things I don't need. The extreme lows and the extreme highs are getting cut off. The same thing happens on my vocals. If I had a mic that was a little but this one's pretty flat, so I just kind of leave it go and it sounds decent with my voice. The bass guitar track, I'm doing the EQ in bias, which you can do. So you don't see one on there, but I have it. And then I'm following it by compressor. The drums also, you can do the EQ and stuff inside the drum VST. Acoustic drums, if I was miking them, I kind of like to do mostly overheads and then just bring up the close mics as needed. Because I find that if you just get the mics in the right place so you're not getting any comb filtering, not canceling each other out, you can almost use the overheads in the room mic for like 80-90% of the drum sound, and then just put the close mics up just a little bit, you know, having the compression on that they do, so they just kind of like have a little more snap to them. But depends on the person. That's how I like to do it. My vocals, they get the most processing. I don't have anything on now because I'm just using the one for just like this mic to be on, but when I do run them, all I do is I put an EQ. This cuts the highs and lows off. I put a compressor on, and that's just like kind of keeping them in the same volume level. It's like a 4-to-1 ratio, fast attack, slow release. On the main vocals, there's like a little overdrive setting on the EQ I'm using, or sorry, on the compressor I'm using, and it's just the stock Logic one. It's the FET model. Then I run all the vocals into a bus. I run it into a compressor again. It's light compression just to like smooth out the pops or anything I have, which mostly the EQ is taking care of that. And then I run it into a tape saturator, which you can see on my screen is called Head Crush. I'm not like boosting the crap out of anything. Pretty much the level they go in is the level they're coming out. I'm just like very light, you know, just coloring it. I don't like boost the crap out of anything with it. I just let it stay the same volume. So if I end up making something louder with a plug-in, I turn the output volume down so it doesn't boost it. Because again, I like to have a lot of headroom. One sec, I'm gonna stop the screen recording just because I don't need it going the whole time. It kind of bogs down my computer. All right, first off, left guitar. So I always do a left and a right guitar of everything I record, except for the guitar solo that I run up the middle. I would screw it up. Okay, let's do this for real. So, without messing it up. I think I'm going to do a half chorus like I did, though. I just completely blanked and forgot I had to do that little modulation part back into the verse. But here we go. All right, that's the left side, and I have to do the right side, so I'm pretty much just gonna do the exact same thing on the right side. That gives me a nice big stereo sound. So you might have heard I have little mess ups here and there. I don't really worry if I get it perfect, as long as I don't like completely butcher the part and like forget what I'm doing and like just play the wrong chord. Unless it's in the right key by accident and it sounds really awesome, then sometimes I'll keep it. But mostly, you know, unless I just basically just destroy the part, I'll keep it, because those little inconsistencies are like what help it kind of sound, you know, real. So I'm using fake guitar amps, fake bass guitar amp, fake drums, you know, so I might as well kind of keep something in there actually, you know, live, and, you know, like it's a real performance. It's just on, you know, amp sims and stuff. Alright, so that's the right side. I'm probably gonna do... I gotta figure it out. So I'm just gonna like mess around and play stuff, but probably gonna do something in the chorus part to just build it up a little bit. Not sure if I need anything on the verse or not. So let me just experiment. already got something. So I'm not going to do exactly third, so I'm going to do B major. I'm going to do the D sharp there, which is the third of the chord. But then I'm going to jump up the E, so that's going to be the same exact as the chord I'm playing underneath. So then when I get to the A, I'm going to do just walk up to the A, so that should sound pretty cool. Now I just have to decide for the verse. I might just actually play over top of it. That's not it. It was a B minor. Alright, so that's the left side with the overdub. Now I'm going to do the right side. Alright, so that's the right side. Now, I know you're not seeing it because I kind of like chop these after the first chorus when I edit this down just for time's sake, but at the end of the video I put these all together on multiple screens so you can see me like playing the whole song once. You know, if you want to see that, you can skip to the end, I guess. Watching this is cool too because, you know, you get to see how I do it. One thing I might try, because this song kind of sounds like it would sound really cool with it, is I do some stuff with, there's like a built-in thing on here called Alchemy where, you know, you just write in MIDI notes and it comes out with like little synth sounds. I could play it in with my keyboard too, but I kind of suck at keyboard, so I don't usually do that because it would just be like quantizing the crap out of it, so I just kind of write it in. I just do like really simple stuff, so like I'll just do like root and fifth and have it like kind of jumping up and down, and it has like an arpeggiator on it, so I just kind of like put that on for the chord and just let it do its thing, and then I turn it down super low so you can barely hear it. Yeah, I was saying I don't think I'm going to do any extra guitar parts in this other than the guitar solo, so I'm going to delete the other two tracks I have here on my template and then just do the guitar solo. I just have to move on to the bass guitar. Remember to turn off my input monitoring for once. And yeah, see you in a second. So when I do bass guitar, I usually keep it really simple. Come on, go. So like, yeah, like I don't really like to do like any super elaborate things because I'm just kind of like trying to keep it so it's like, you know, kind of rhythmic, so it meshes with the drums really well. But, you know, again, like everything, it depends on the song. So let me mess around. Now I'm going to do the drums, so I got to turn the camera around and all that fun stuff. All right, so I'm here at the drums. This is actually the second time I'm trying this because I had a little problem with my trigger on the kick head coming off a little bit because the tape was not sticking. So I was getting weird double triggers, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to shut the mic off. I leave it on when I'm recording the guitars and the bass, and it just like picks up the monitors, and there's like a little like weirdness going on sometimes with the audio with those, but it's not too bad, so I leave it. But these have like really loud pads, so I just kind of like turn it off. Anyway, not that anyone cares, so let's just get to it. I'm going to shut the mic off and then start recording. All right, so we're back. Yeah, I have vocals left to do and, you know, little stuff like that. So what time is it? I'm not sure if I want to do it or not, but I always say that every video. 4:30. I have somewhere to be at 6, so I have to run in the house and grab like some water because I'm really thirsty and some stuff like that. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna grab some food and I'll see what time I come back out. So I'll see if I have enough time. Probably not though, so I might end up doing them tomorrow. But at least I got the drums done, so cool. All right, so it's the next day. I did end up going in and just like not coming back out because stuff. So I kind of had a melody in my head. I did a scratch track, which is basically what I do is like a memory aid. Gotta get stuff out of the pockets. There we go. So I did that. And it's just basically me like mumbling the melody with no words, and sometimes I just like improvise words because it'll give me an idea later when I'm writing the song, but this one was not the case. It was just mumbling, but I'll show it to you. When so that's the verse part, and then the chorus, this is what I got. That is a verse melody and a chorus melody. That should be good, so I just have to write it now. Probably going to do them separately because I know my brain is just going to dump all information when I get from the verse to the chorus because I'm improvising this, so I don't really like have the muscle memory down, so, you know. It's a kind of a thing with me. I just like blank on vocal parts. If I was the singer in any kind of band playing live, it would be a disaster because songs I've been doing for years, I just blank. Yeah, I'm going to write the lyrics, so I'll speed that up. You know, so you won't have to sit through like 10 minutes of me doing that, but there we go. Okay, I'm done with the lyrics. So I was doing a little bit of recording just to kind of like get an idea how it would sound. So I have like a first verse and chorus down there, although they're not really keepers. I was just kind of like singing them like blah. So here's the verse. Another it's a little like I don't know what would the word be, like melancholy or something. I like the Smashing Pumpkins album. I go into the chorus, which turns into the major key, which is E major. So that sounds a little more happy. I guess I'm going to sing it for real right now. Like I said, I think I'm going to do the verse and the chorus separate. It's not like I can't just like go one into the other, but kind of have to like, it just takes longer because I have to learn the whole song then, and I just suck at that. So yeah, I'll do them separately. That really could use a compressor, but I'm just doing it dry now, so you know I can actually hear what it sounds like. When I do the compressor, all of the levels that are super quiet, super loud, will just go whoosh. So it's like, you know, same volume level, and it won't be like disappearing every time I get like, you know, down onto one of those little low notes. Okay, here we go. Second verse. Yeah, I think that's good. So now I'm going to do the chorus parts. So yeah, what I do is I do like one right up the middle, and that's like kind of like my main vocal, and then I'll do two that I pan to the sides, usually like 35 left, 35 right, like percentage wise. And then I do like volume cut on the dubs, which I turn them down like 10 dB. Those are the only things I'll like touch on the faders. Everything else is like just right at unity, and I change the guitar volumes in the plugin, but the vocals for the dubs, I turn those way down. And the point of those is not really to stand out, but to actually just like accentuate the main vocal, so that it creates like a little bit of a chorusing effect, because they're just like slight inconsistencies with the pitch, and you know, just slightly with the timing, you know, human error type stuff. So it really like helps. Okay, let me just record this. That should work. So it's going to be a little phasey and stuff because I don't have the panning or the volume change now. They're all at the exact same level and pan to center, so it sounds a little bleh. The point of it is when they're turned down and like panned, that kind of goes away and it just makes a nice little effect. Okay, so now I got to do the second chorus and then the last chorus. Okay, now I'm going to do the dubs. Okay, so given that these dubs are pretty much like duplicates of the chorus part I just sang, if one of these turns out better than the original one I just did, I will go whoosh and swap them. It's kind of like, I guess like as I keep going, the muscle memory gets better, so I can like sing it more and more, you know, in time and in key and such. So occasionally, yeah, that happens. Okay, that should be it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. So basically, that's it. That's how I write my song. Any of my songs, that is. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the footage from me playing all of the parts. I put it onto a whole bunch of different screens. May or may not contain all of the instruments I played, but just as much as I can possibly squeeze in to get all of the relevant information on there. It's just kind of like, you know, just to kind of like show how much actually goes into it, I guess. All in one thing. Usually I take that whole thing at the end and I just like make a separate video and put it out the next day too, you know, for someone that doesn't want to watch this whole giant long ass video. Because like, you know, these are like 30 minutes or longer, so some people don't want to sit there because, you know, attention spans. But if, you know, you're interested and you're watching this, great. I'm just basically making these for people who want to write their own songs, and there it is. Okay, enjoy. I'm gonna put this all together and you can watch the song. So it's the finished, mastered, mixed and mastered track on top of me playing all the parts on multiple screens. So here you go.